You might want to pause it here and write down these web pages.
Hi, I'm RiverExplorer, and some people ask me how I made this, and I used Unity. And a lot of awesome artists in Horizon Worlds used Blender. I have no clue how to use Blender. I have to Google every little step I do. I did it with Unity. So I've created a starter kit that allows you to import the starter kit into Unity, replace it with your 360 photo, save it, and then use what you save to upload it into Horizon Worlds if you're part of the MHCP program. And so, if you find it useful, great. If you don't, I'm happy for you. Have a great day. At the beginning of this tutorial were two URLs. One of the URLs is the starter kit. So you just upload it into Unity, replace it with your picture, and then from that you can import into Horizon Worlds with your 360-degree photo that you did. And it saves you a lot of little edit steps. And if you want, you can dissect it and figure out how I got there. Not even sure how I did. It took a lot of experimentation. But once I did, I saved it as a starter kit for me, and you can use it as well. The second URL is a free class I have online. There's almost 800 people taking parts of the class now. And I used a kit called Moodle, which was a free classroom kit. And it's really designed for a formal class, but ignore all of that. Ignore deadline dates. Use some of it, use all of it, use none of it. Take them in random order. I'm happy if you use it. I just wanted to share it. So, with that, the next clip should start in the process of making skydomes.
Okay, we're starting off with an empty Unity project. You can use my class to know how to do that. You can use a ton of online YouTube videos, or if you're a Unity person, you already know how. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to first import the starter kit. Okay, so we're going to go to that first URL that was on the beginning of the video, and you can rewind it, write it down if you want. I wish I could do copy paste on videos, but I don't know how. And that was riverexplorer.game/skybox kit with a capital S and a capital K. And it should take you to something like this. Find the newest version. In this case, there's only one, but there may be more than one when you get to the watching this. Click on it, and it'll ask where you want to download it, and I'm going to install it at the very top of my project. I put things there so I don't forget where I put them. They're related to a project. So in my Unity directory, there's this Skybox tutorial we're doing. I'm going to make a folder called Downloads, and in this folder is where I'm going to put the Skybox kit. Right? That's it. It's downloaded. Now, if your layout doesn't look like this, it doesn't matter. I use different layouts all the time. But in your Assets folder under Projects, Assets, you can create a folder here. In fact, let's do that. Let's create a folder, and I'm going to call it Skyboxes. Skybox. All right, and we'll let it do its thing. All right, then I'm going to right-click on Skybox, import package. There's two things that are similar: import new asset and import package. We're going to import package, custom package, and we're going to install it from wherever you saved it. In my case, it was my PC D Unity Skybox Downloads. And I'm importing the package, and it'll come up with something like this, the files that are in it. And then you down here at the right hand corner, make sure all is selected, all of them are checked, import, and it imported it. Now I accidentally didn't click in the right spot, so I'm going to take this and drag it into Skybox and rename that correctly. SKY box. Alright, and I could have edited out the errors, but so inside of Lewiston Hill we have this Skybox. To see it in Unity, you go to the top menu up here, Window, Rendering, Lighting, and then Environment, and then on Skybox Material you click this little dot and find top of Lewiston Hill, which is this one, and you can look around and see that it installed that Skybox. And I'm doing this by holding the right mouse button down and then moving the mouse around, holding the right mouse button down and moving the mouse around. Okay, so we've imported the Skybox. So the next little clip is going to show you how to replace it with your photo. Okay, we've got this Skybox that we've imported. And by the way, I took this photo with my DJI Mini 4 drone, and I'm giving it to you. You can do anything you would like with it, well, except for say you took the photo. But the ultimate goal here is you want to use your photo, your Skybox, or you can use this one. Now, with Unity, and I'm using Windows, I don't really know anything about Apple products. I don't even know if that works the same on an Apple product. So we're doing all this on Windows. I'm going to select with my left mouse button, I've selected top of Lewiston Hill, and I'm going to type Control D as in David. Control D for duplicate. Okay, and so then in here, it created a copy of it. And we're going to rename this. You can rename it anything you want. I'm going to call it My Skybox. I'm going to go into My Skybox, and you'll see the names still show top of Lewiston Hill. So I'm going to rename these to all these pieces to My Skybox. And this one we're going to leave alone, the Lambert, and I'll explain why later. Rename My Skybox. Okay, so they're all named the same. And okay. Now we're going to go back to the web where we downloaded the starter kit, and you'll notice I added a file since then. I'm using the Firefox browser. If you click on the JPEG file, it will show you the Skybox. It doesn't really show it in 360 mode, but it shows you the Skybox, and I hit the back arrow. So I'm going to right click on this and save link as, and I'm going to download it into the same download folder that I did before, and I already saved it for the testing it. We're going to save it down there. Now, so what we want to do is make sure we have My Skybox selected. We want to right click, and this time we want to say import new asset. And we're going to import that Rosenberg, Washington picture. And it's imported. All right. So we click on it, and up here in the inspector under texture shape, we say change it to cube and hit apply. And it's thinking. And okay, so now it's a cube. Now we go back into this one, which is the FBX file equivalent. No, I'm sorry, into where did it go? Into this one, which is the texture, the material. And we choose the one we want. In this case, we're going to choose Rosenberg, Washington. All right, and file, save. It hasn't changed yet because we set it to the Lewiston Hill one. So we're going to go up here to Windows, Rendering, Lighting, Environment, Skybox Material, and set it to My Skybox. And bingo, closing these, it is now Rosenberg, Washington, which is about 20 miles, 30 miles south of where I live. All these roads are dirt. These people live in the middle of beautiful nowhere. Anyway, so you have now imported this picture or your picture as a Skybox. You probably want to make sure that it's at least a 4K picture. Some of these that I've been using are 8K, and they work great. Horizon Worlds wants PNG files, so I deliberately installed a JPEG file so that we can go all the way through JPEG to PNG. Also, if you have a PNG, you can just use that as well. But I wanted to show all the steps depending upon how you came into doing this. So in the next clip, we're going to show you how to save all of this in a way that can be imported into Horizon Worlds. And again, File, Save. See you in the next clip. Okay, we now have your photo, or this one if you wanted to use it, in Unity. What we need to do is convert it to a JPEG file. And you can skip parts that don't apply to you. So if you already have a PNG file, you can watch if you wanted this part about how to convert it to a PNG. So I'm going to split this into two parts, the making it ready. The first part's going to be how to convert a JPEG to a PNG. And the second part is how to take your PNG, however you got it, whether it was yours, from your drone, from the internet, wherever you got it, and make it ready. So this clip is about converting the JPEG to a PNG using a program called GIMP. So this program is free. On your web browser, go to www.gimp.org and click download, or if you already have it. Now, those of you that are artists, and there's a lot of you in Horizon World that are artists, you may have your own favorite tool for converting JPEGs to PNG. It doesn't really matter what tool you use, but I use GIMP. All right, so you download GIMP and then you have it. All right, and then you install it on your system. And I'm going to go here, and I've already installed it on my system, and I'm going to bring it up. All right, it started. I need to resize this so it fits in this window. There we go. And we're going to import, in this case, the PNG file. And I'm going to go here and minimize these so the backgrounds don't confuse me. There we go. Now I can see how tall I'm making this. All right, and we're going to File, Open the JPEG file that you want to convert to a PNG. Let's see, where did I put it on D? In my case, wherever you downloaded the JPEG file or have your JPEG file that you want to convert, Skybox, downloads, in this case, rosenbergwashington.jpg. Okay, it loaded the file, and when you're editing with GIMP and maybe other tools, I don't know, it looks flat, so it doesn't look like it will look in a 3D view, but it does allow you to edit the photo. And this, with GIMP, it's simple. You export as, and then up here you replace JPEG with PNG, and in the lower right corner, or where it says select by file type, I'm sorry, down here, select by file type. Make sure this is done. That way it will see the PNG, and you don't have to tell it what you want to do. It knows what a PNG file. We're just going to flat export this, nothing fancy. And it's going to come up and it's going to ask all of these things. I would leave them all alone and click export and wait a little bit for it to happen. It can take quite a while. All right, it's finished. And it's taken my, by the way, this is, like I said, if I didn't say it, this is also another free photo you can have and do anything you want except for claim you did it. Or your photo. And it's a 360 photo. And people take the photos different ways, but it's a 360 photo. Okay, so in the next clip, we're going to make this PNG exportable to Horizon Worlds. All right, we have our PNG file, and either you already had a PNG file you're going to use, it's a 360 photo, or you converted the JPEG file from the previous clip into a PNG file. Here's where we're at. Horizon Worlds will not import a one that is larger than 50. That's 50 megabytes. It won't import larger than 50 megabytes. So let's take a look here. We have our original one, and it wants PNG files, right? So the JPEG file was 39 megabytes, okay? But that's a compressed file format. But Horizon Worlds import wants PNG, so we converted it to PNG. Now what size is the file? It's now 71 megabytes. PNG does not do texture compression. You got it, pretty much the raw data with a PNG, and that's why they tend to be larger. So we need to reduce the size of this PNG. Now, many of you are artists, and you can use many tools you want to reduce the size to be less than 50 megabytes. I use GIMP because it's a free tool. We showed you in the last video where to get it. It's at gimp.org, GIMP.org. You go to that web page, download, and install it. It's free. And then once you do, you open this PNG file with GIMP, and that'll be here. I did it, right? And when you install one with GIMP, let's do File, Open, and we'll import that PNG file. At the top, it'll tell you the resolution of the photo. In this case, it's 12,000 by 6,000, and that's evidently the size of the photo that my DJI Mini 4 drone takes when it does a 360 photo. It actually takes multiple photos and stitches them together, but that's the result as a 12,000 by 6,000, which as a PNG file produces a 71 megabyte. Lots of details you maybe not care about. We care about making it less than 50 megabytes. So with GIMP, and again, you can use your own tool for resizing it. With GIMP, I'm going to scale the image to 8192. And then you'll notice here as I hit the tab key, it automatically keeps the aspect ratio and changes the height. All right, so now I've saved it. All right, I'm going to rescale it to this size. And for those of you that want the most perfect picture you can get, you can play with these numbers and keep resaving it until you get as close as 50 megabyte as you can. But I happen to know that this size will work. So we scale the image, which was pretty quick. Then we're going to File, Export it. And you'll notice at the top here, it changed the header on GIMP to be 8192 by 4096, which is nice that it tells us that. So I'm going to save that here as the file because I want to make sure I did it right. 8192 by 4096. And this will take a while. And again, save this stuff, export, and obviously there's been time edits in here. Okay, time edit done. It saved the file. Now let's see, go to where I saved the file. Alright, we have our original PNG, which according to Windows was 71 megabytes. We changed it to rescaled it to an 8192 by 4096, and we now have a 39.4 megabyte file. So now you see what I mean. You can play with the size numbers and get it larger if you want. But the Grand View world that people ask me about use this size, and you can make it higher res if you want. All right, so now that we know this one will work, now in the next clip we're going to try to import this. It's going to fail, but I want to show you what to do, and because it's going to happen, and you're going to it's going to happen to you, because sometimes you can't tell what it wants to name the picture. We'll show you what that is like. So anyway, that's the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one where we start to try to import it into worlds. All right, we've got our smaller picture that we've edited with either GIMP or your favorite tool, and it's less than 50 megabytes, and it's a PNG file, but it's not in Unity yet. So what I want to do is, and technically we don't have to, but I do this anyway. You can import it into Horizon Worlds from two different directories, but I put them in the same one because if stuff gets separated, sometimes it can be hard to find them again. So we're going to import new asset, and we're going to import into Unity this 8192 by 4096 or whatever you called yours into the Skybox directory. Whoops, I didn't put it in there, so I'm going to put it in my Skybox by dragging it over. And now, let's see, we'll click on the new one and change it to a cube and hit apply. Now you'll notice these names look the same in here, but you'll notice down here it gives you the full file name, and this is of course the one we really want. So in the Skybox here, we're going to select the cube map we want. We're going to select the smaller one. We're going to select the smaller one here, and it didn't really change on the screen, and it probably won't on yours either, depending upon the resolution of your picture and the detail it has in it. So we have it all in Unity now, and I always hit File, Save. All right, at this point, we're going to, if you haven't done it yet, install, I searched from Google, I searched MetaQuest Link, install the MetaQuest Link app for Windows, and after that's installed, you'll run it, and it'll come up looking something like this, and home, and then one of these is going to say Meta Horizon Worlds. Click Start in Desktop Mode, and this can take a little bit of time, but sometimes it's quick. All right, so it's up. We're going to create a brand new world, and I'm going to call this world Skybox Tutorial. And so we're going to start from a blank world. We're going to use custom import model because we're going to be importing from Unity. And we're going to create the world, and this can take a few seconds. Time edited here. It goes through this phase, and then eventually it ends up here. And this is not a tutorial on how to use this. This is just a tutorial how to do this particular step. Now this is going to fail, but I want you to see how it fails because you're going to make this mistake, and I want you to know what to do about it. So down here I'm going to click on Assets, and then I'm going to go to Skyboxes. And then once I have my Skyboxes chosen, and you can see I have a few I get to play with, I'm going to import a 3D model. This is what you're going to do too. I turn this off because it makes no difference whatsoever with these, and plus it gets rid of the warning. And then I'm going to choose the files on my computer. Now I'm going to go to my Unity project, which in my case is dUnity, and where's Skybox? And then because it was on the imports of Unity down here in Assets Skybox, right? We're going to go back here to Assets, Skybox, My Skybox, and we're going to import these two things, the FBX file, which we got from the kit, and the Rosenberg, or your file of whatever size that fits under 50 megabytes, and import it. We're going to get an error, and this takes a bit, so there's going to be some time edit here. So we've got both these selected, and we collect import. And you'll notice it changes to this, with a little kind of like a clock, processing. All right, it failed. There was a problem. We can click on it and it'll say something here. Expected a base texture named Lambert1 underscore br.png for the material, but did not find it. Please replace the asset file. Now, in Unity, remember we had this Lambert file? Well, that's kind of what it is. In this case, it was a JPEG one, but we're going to rename this to what it wanted, which was Lambert1 underscore br. I believe that was what it said, right? We're going to go back here and double check. Oop. Here it is. Lambert1 underscore br.png. The reason it wants that file name is that's what it was called in the FBX file. And the FBX file, see here it is, Lambert1. And then Unity adds the underscore br. You can read up on their documentation as to why, but that's the name of the file has to be called that. So Lambert1br.png. And I wanted to show you that area because you're going to forget and you're going to get that error. So now we go back here, and you can delete this if you want, or we're just going to hit replace. We're going to hit replace, turn this back off, choose the file, and I wish it would remember where we were at, but it does not, and it's still very useful. So it's a minor complaint from a whining guy here. So D, in my case, Unity, where's my Skybox, Assets, Skybox, my Skybox. Now we're going to import the Lambert1 br.png and the my Skybox.fbx file, which you imported from that kit, and you're going to hit import. And this is again time edited. Don't worry about this. This will change in a second. There, you see it changed back to the processing. And then there's going to be some more time delay here that I'm editing out. All right, success, all assets imported. Now all I have to do is take the My Skybox, bring it up here and let go of the button and wait a second or two. And we are now in that world. And zoom into it. And we have that Skybox, which we can now play with. And that's how you import one. Now it's kind of funny, while telling you how to rename the file, in this case to Lambert1 underscore br, I accidentally misspelled Lambert, left out the M. So there's been an edit in there. And the reason we're using Lambert1.br under PNG is because the FBX file you imported, that was the name of the material in that FBX file, and we're just swapping out the picture, so we kind of have to use the same material name that it used when it created it. Congratulations. If you have any questions, I love to hear from people that are using this. Okay, it's in we have put the Skybox into a Horizon world. It's scaled at 1, which is kind of small, but at least we can test and see that it worked. Now, if you put the spawn point outside of the world and leave it as collidable, you're not going to get in. So either put the spawn point inside or turn off collidable. All right. So, and then another couple of things I found. Size 7 is an interesting size. And if I move it up, right, and just to do that. Now, it's what I've and so that's, we're inside of the world, and it kind of looks like this. And I can also, just by experimenting, I've discovered that you can take the Skybox. I clicked over here on Skybox. 25, you might be able to get a little larger than 25, but 25 was about the largest I could make it and still see the other side. Otherwise, it clipped it. So, and then by changing the environment, this looks washed out, but by changing the environment, you can darken it up so it looks better, which I'll do in a second here. Okay, I'm going to go to here, Gizmos, environment here somewhere, loading the asset, and I really hate losing them. So I stopped putting them in worlds. I'm going to zoom way out of the world, and I'm going to put it outside the world because it's environment that affects everything. Now, as what I did with the environment is I set it to custom gradient, set all of these to 1. Didn't change these, I don't think, but they're at 0.5. Exposure to 0.1. Light intensity is at 1. Did not have a custom light intensity. The thing that really made a difference was the fog density. Um, I set it to 0, and it makes it clear. If you make this, I don't know what it was, zero point 0.1 or something, everything's whited out or whatever it was. So because of such a large world, it basically you can't see through all the fog. And you can play with these numbers and do various things. But as you can see, the setting the environment takes it from washed out. And I go back to the Skybox here, which is a size 25. And look what happens when I change it to, let's say, 45, 45, 45. When you get in part of the world and you start backing up, so see, well, maybe with the higher resolutions it works. But with some of them, you'll get this white dot in the center. And what's happening is that the far side is so far away that Horizon Worlds clips it out. And it may actually happen if I go into no, there we go. I'm at the bottom of the world. So yeah, you'll have to play with some of these numbers, but basically, because they're not really the same on all worlds, it depends on the density of the skybox and the scale of it, the scale of the rest of your world, your lighting. There's all kinds of things that'll influence it, but you've got the basics down. So environment is very important for making your skybox look good. Almost forgot. Up here, very important button, hit publish. And I'm going to go ahead and make this public because the tutorial, maybe people want to see it. World rating, we get a rating, and it doesn't have any of this in there. I had one of mine switched from 10 plus to 13 plus because people were jumping off of things, and that might cause people to be scared. So just to be aware of that. Like there was a long jump, and I guess young kids would find that scary. So they changed my rating from 10 to 13 plus. I'm pretty happy with that. But in this case, it's just a world, so I'm going to hit next. Anyone can visit it. There's no restrictions. All right, and then choose a genre, and the comfort rating is comfortable. I don't think there's anything, you know. And this is a tutorial, but I don't think they have anything called tutorials in here. So I'm just going to say social and save it. Now it's going to be visible to the public. I think I'll mark it as a beta world because it's not really a full world. It's available through web and mobile. It's compatible with web and mobile because it really doesn't do anything, right? And I'm going to publish it and confirm. And then I agree. It's now saved publicly. Have a great day. I'd like to shout out for a program called Recut, which is not free, which does some time editing for me and saves me a lot of time. I also use something called OBS Studio to make this, which you can't quite see it here in the picture because I've got it deliberately so that it's hidden and that won't get in the way. And that's another free asset. I also use DaVinci Resolve, which is another free program for editing, and that's it kind of here with a part of it you can see. Thanks again for watching.